Part 10. After Rebirth, Boss, she is beautiful and sassy. Author, Beautiful. Chapter 91. Chapter 91 sparks heated discussion. Be sure to go to bed early today, I'll do it. What did I see? My white moonlight. It's Juniang Wanzi. Who is this woman? Where did this 18th tier star come from? Nowadays, cats and dogs can come to the entertainment industry to make a living. I am speechless. Sparkling glow stick, why does it look familiar to me? I seem to have seen it somewhere. 3 true fires, my cheating, who chose it? Although. But, it's pretty good looking. Ziobai Liwa, me too. But I dare not say it for fear of being criticized by fans of the original work. Saving a pocket of stars, fans of this original work boldly open the wheat, put aside other things, and only look at the final makeup photos. It is actually quite suitable. The contradictory and harmonious sides of Qining are shown. Love to eat dried strawberries, what can a makeup photo say? Can such a young actor who appears out of nowhere have the acting skills to perform Yu Qining? Originally, I was quite interested in Gu Sushi and Su Ziwei, but now because of this casting, I took the first step. Caixin, I'm not a fan of anything, but I have to say, she's really good looking. The armor is too awesome. The eyes are too sassy. I can't breathe. Passion fruit double cannon without pearls, isn't this the horse racing girl who was trending on the search 2 days ago? Sheet, I was just wondering why it looked so familiar. At that time, some people said it was for preparation for debut and for hype, and sure enough. Xia Chazhang lost her mind, but a technical emperor has seen it before, and the video is not synthesized. It is impossible that they persuaded Ma to star, right? Fans of Shenying and Qin Shui have just recovered from the mutual infighting. Yes, the current situation is that something that neither of them has caught has been picked up by an unknown guy. They should first talk to the outside world unanimously, and then talk about the rest. It's the first snowy weather, don't you have any idea upstairs? Just Chen Yingying's acting skills as Qining? Don't be kidding, our Shui didn't say anything. What does the heavy snow look like, resting on our laurels? I laughed. Shen Ying was so embarrassing in that idiotic idol drama that she had the nerve to say that our Cher won the Best Supporting Actress award. In terms of acting skills, she was at least 10 times ahead of Shen Ying. How could Shen Ying be let down by director Gu's work? This kind of performance with no acting skills is laughable to death. Went up the mountain to catch chicks, I don't understand what the fans above are arguing about. Isn't it that now that neither of them has appeared in the show, they have been cut off by others? The video originally posted by the marketing account has been deleted by Qinju, but many people couldn't help but save it, so the video was posted on Weibo again. Yinga Yan Wu, our Ying Ying's last drama ranked among the top 3 in the same period, so what if Qin Shui was born as a child star? Aren't they just resting on their laurels these years? Please accompany me to drink, I think so too. This looks like the heroic and willful Princess Qining, just like she stepped out of a book. Call me MS Spades, Mom, she is so handsome. He is actually of learning. Cried and cried. Then, fans from both sides began to criticize Yunsu's origins and acting skills, but no one criticized her appearance. After all, her appearance is there, and she can't tell lies with her eyes open. Then who knows if this video is fake? Maybe it was prepared for this role. Besides, if she doesn't study hard, why would she join in the fun? It would hurt Zhonyang. For a while, the comments began to quarrel over whether Yunsu, who played the role of Princess Qining, was hyped. Apart from them, the most angry group of people should be another group of people. Favorite Shen Yingying, what did I see? This role is not played by our Yingying, which is outrageous. I won't watch it and it's boring. Yamashiro November, Just watching this video, it seems to be quite suitable. Shanchange November, what video? Am I disconnected? Soon, many entries such as who plays Yu Qining in Tangenji, Princess Qining's casting, who is Yunsu, the anger of the original party, etc. began to dominate the Weibo rankings. Shen Yingying was furious when she saw the Weibo post about the story of Tangen. She worked hard all night and served Mr. Fang in various ways. She finally got him to call Gu Liangziu and propose a change of role, otherwise she would withdraw the capital. Who knew that Gu Liangziu was like a stone in a pit, with a bad temper and a hard temper, and would not agree to replace Yunsu no matter what. Now that she saw how enthusiastic the response was on the internet and how deeply everyone was against Yunsu, Shen Ying smiled happily and said, "Let's make a fuss. The bigger the fuss, the better. It's best to make Gu Liangziu feel that the audience won't buy it and consider changing drop Yunsu." Yunsu, who was still filming on the set, had no time to pay attention to the trends on the internet. She only had 2 days to stay in the gold market. Although she did not have many roles, the 2 days were still not enough. Fortunately, Yunsu was a good student. She learned all kinds of positions and camera shots very quickly, so fast that everyone on the crew was amazed. She seemed to be born to eat this bowl of rice. The scenes in the palace are relatively relaxed. Most of them are about the daily interactions between Yu Qining and Yu Tanjun. She teaches him martial arts, archery, and helps him with arithmetic and writing. It is not too difficult to act, and each shot is shot relatively quickly. Okay, this one is over, Susu and Sushi should take a break, Gu Liangziu said with satisfaction. Yunsu and Gusu, who were tense, instantly relaxed. Yunsu walked aside, and the stewardess immediately brought her a bottle of water. The makeup artist also stepped forward to touch up her makeup and fix her hair. "Thanks." The stewardess blushed and ran away. "Woo woo woo, Susu is too handsome." She was originally a fan of Gu Sushi, but now she no longer cares about Gu Sushi and climbed on the wall all night long. "Yunsu, you just came here and you took away all the fan base I built." Gu Sushi laughed while drinking water. Now the entire crew, regardless of boys and girls, didn't pay much attention to him, making him suddenly feel like he had fallen out of favor. "That's okay, I won't be able to stay long, you still have a chance to make them change their minds." Yunsu was a little more familiar with Gu Sushi now, and it was rare for her to joke. Gusu was speechless. Why did these words make him feel like a third party looking for an opportunity to rise to power? The crew responsible for monitoring online public opinion hurriedly walked next to Gu Liangziu. "Director, as soon as I posted it on Weibo, the response online was very intense. People were questioning Miss Yun, and even resisted our drama. I'm afraid I've expected it." Gu Liangziu was still looking at the last shot, not paying much attention. He said calmly, "Put up the video of her and Sushi seen before." He had known for a long time that the role of Princess Qining would be a certain one. No matter who played the role, there would be a lot of controversy, not to mention a newcomer like Yunsu who had never been exposed to acting. She had been asked to play opposite Gu Sushi before, not only for the sake of look at Yunsu's understanding of this character. He is also preparing to stop the crowd. Wouldn't this come in handy now? "Okay, director." Unexpectedly, before their crew posted it on Weibo, someone had already posted it on Weibo. "Mji Yang Farm, I would like to express my gratitude to Miss Adasusu 2121 for her heroic rescue at our horse farm on the afternoon of the 3rd. She not only saved people, but also calmed the stimulated horse and stopped it from rushing into the crowd, so that it did not lead to tragedy." The following is the surveillance video of that day, and another, the banner of thanks is already being made in full swing. It was Jun Weie's official account of the racecourse who posted the video. The person who saw the hot search on Weibo was not Jun Weie, but Jun Taimji, who was ridiculed by Gu Liangziu for not being online. After knowing that Yunsu agreed to go to the filming, June Tameshii he asked his secretary to download Weibo for him. After the official Weibo of Tangenji released the makeup photos, he was among the first to like and comment on it. Once he saw that the trend of public opinion was very unfavorable to Yoon-soo, and everyone was questioning the authenticity of the video, Hoon Tang-shi became anxious. How can this be done? He immediately called Jun Wei and asked him to pull out the invigilation video of the day and post it online to clear Yoon-soo's name. As soon as this Weibo post was posted, netizens burst into laughter. The first thing they noticed was not the surveillance video, but the design of the banner posted later. "Thank you, heroine, for saving my horse's life. What about the 8 big characters?" Looking at it all reveals a sense of nonsense. Call without words, ha 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 ha, who designed the flag designed, laughed to death. Is this really thank you? You're duodenum. If it were me, I wouldn't want this at all. It's not a serious banner at first glance. Leader Rabbit is on standby. I believe it now. This is definitely not a hype, ha 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 ha. Hoon Tang-shi looked at the whole article full of ha 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 does not accept the complaint, and he is not convinced. Isn't his 8 words bad? Straightforward and insightful, he typed his speech passionately. Get well soon. Oh no, I think this banner is very good. I have explained the matter and expressed my gratitude. The following replies to him were all rows of question marks. Just as Jundangshi was about to continue speaking, a message popped up that the official account of Tangenji he followed had posted on Weibo. End of this chapter. After Rebirth, boss, she is beautiful and sassy. Author, beautiful. Chapter 92. Chapter 92 Official blog comments. The TV series The Story of Tangen. Let me show you a video of the duel first. It's the first time for the sisters and brothers who deceive the king to meet you. Please take care of me. At Gusushi, at Asusu2121. Attached to Weibo is a video of Yoon-soo and Gusu's first audition. Under the palace wall, the boy's pleading posture and reluctant eyes, the girl's decisive figure and loud words, the atmosphere is strong and depressing, and there is a tragic feeling. The meaning spread. Imagination is lacking after all. After the two people's interpretation, the plot description in the novel suddenly came to life. At Gu Liangziu's reminder, Yoon-soo finally found out about her moldy Weibo. There were millions of fans on it, commenting on her, sending her private messages, and so on. Yoon-soo glanced at it casually and moved. With a move of my finger, I found a cute smiling face and forwarded this official blog. The sarcastic voices of netizens who saw this video stopped abruptly, and they could no longer attack Yoon-soo's acting skills. If this is called bad acting, then there may not be many good ones in the entertainment industry, although the performance is still a bit lacking. It's childish, but the emotions in it are shockingly strong. Hoon Tang quickly clicked the like button with quick eyes and quick hands, and then quickly typed a comment. Oh no, get well soon, this is so beautiful. What kind of princess is this? This is a new rainbow fart he learned while surfing the internet, and netizens also commented on it. Be sure to go to bed early today. I am speechless after watching this video. She is cheating. Love to eat dried strawberries. I take back what I said before. You shouldn't doubt director Gu's casting. The original author is convinced. This is all the information we found. Only the fans of Shenyang and Qin Shui are still stubborn, thinking that their own is the most suitable. There is more than enough and happiness every year. Woo hoo hoo, those whips 7 you wield are so handsome. My sister whipped me. Saving a pocket of stars, ah. I've been looking forward to it for a long time, but it seems like there aren't many roles for this character. I beg director Gu to add more roles. Log by passerby, speechless, Shenyang's fans, it's better not to cause trouble for your main character. Qin Shui, who was at the MV shooting scene, laughed when she saw this comment, and her smile was gentle and harmless. I've underestimated this guy. It's interesting. I heard that Shenying asked people to threaten Gu Dao to divest his capital. He's really a fool. Qin Shui's fans are quite sensible. As expected, they follow the rightful owner, unlike some people's fans. Whoops. The assistant immediately took out a page and handed it to her. The first half of what I said is true. Although Qin Shui is still relatively young, she was born as a child star and has been in the industry longer than many popular artists. Also, considering that she has been immersed in the industry for a long time, has a wide network of contacts, and a deep fan base, don't dare to offend her easily. Wei Fenfenshuo, he seemed to be a big fan of Qin Shui. After the video came out and the trend of the internet changed, Qin Shui asked her assistant to contact these big fans and stop making comments that would cause controversy. If you ruin your popularity with passersby, you will lose more than you gain. That is, although we, Shui, are a bit regretful that she did not appear in the role, we have to admit that this girl is still pretty good. A passerby here? Quickly praise the person upstairs and let him go up there to embarrass himself. April Elva, am I the only one who laughed at the CP name? What the is siblings who deceive the emperor, ha ha ha. Qin Shui frowned, that's it? Favorite Shen Yingying, that's it, our Yingying will definitely be much better than her. Have you found her information? Qin Shui asked. The assistant held one of her hands and carefully applied disposable nail polish to her. Hearing this, he immediately flattered her and said, that's for sure. Shenying has only been out for a long time. How many people in this circle would call us senior when they see our sister Shui? Oh. I'd say this girl's acting is really not as good as sister Shui, and I don't know what director Gu's vision is. Sure enough, compared with Shenying's fans, this kind of extra generous words quickly won the favor of passersby. In fact, Qin Shui's acting skills are passable. Gu Liangxiu originally considered letting her play the role of Qining, just because Qin Shui's appearance is the typical girl next door sweet look, and it is difficult to play the role of Qining. Intimidating momentum. Mei Chuo Qian, me too, I noticed it at first sight, and I was a little surprised when I watched the video, ha ha ha. I was born in a rural area, and my father is now a braised food shop owner. He is first in grade and got good grades in math competitions, but it's of no use. Wait a minute, Qin Shui's eyes fixed. The relationship with the Yun family in Lanqing is unknown, and she is suspected to be an illegitimate daughter. Interesting. She returned it to the assistant. Find a way to pass this information to Shenying. There are some things I'd better let her do. What do you mean? Qin Shui nodded. I understand, Sister Shui. The assistant smiled knowingly. Go. Sister Yingying. At the filming site of an urban idol drama, Shenying had just finished filming. She was looking at the comments of netizens on Weibo with her mobile phone, her face uncertain. What are you doing? Her tone was very bad. The assistant approached mysteriously. He took out a piece of paper from his arms and handed it to her. What? Shenying asked impatiently. Take a look first, I spent a lot of effort to find it. Oh, Shenying put down the phone and took the paper from the assistant's hand. The more she looked at it, the bigger the smile on her face became. Ha ha ha, this woman has such a background, I can catch her now. He glanced at the assistant and said, well done, your salary will be doubled this month. The assistant's eyes lit up and he said hurriedly, thank you, Sister Yingying. In this case, you go find, and then. Shenying ordered her in a low voice. Okay, I'll do it right away. The 2 days of filming passed quickly. Yunsu was exhausted physically and mentally. The filming was really tiring. Not only was she physically exhausted, but she also had to be highly concentrated. Yunsu made up her mind that this experience of filming would be enough. There is no second time. On Sunday night, she rushed back to Lanqing, went home and devoured a large bowl of tomato and egg noodles made by her father. Why are you so tired from filming? Why don't we stop going in the future? Yoon Daejin felt very distressed. It's okay, I'm just in a hurry. These 2 days there aren't many scenes for this character. There are still some filming in Lanchinge, so we won't be delayed for long. Yoon-soo put down the bowl and licked his lips with satisfaction. By the way, Dad. Yoon-soo opened the bag and took out what he had brought back, the autographed photo of director Gu Liangziu. You want? Hey, you really brought it to me? Yoon Daejin took it in surprise. Of course. How dare I not take your instructions to heart? Okay, go to bed after eating. By the way, I'll go to your Aunt Ching's house for dinner tomorrow night. Come back early, don't forget it. Yoon Daejin suddenly remembered this. Aunt Ching? Yoon-soo looked at her father suspiciously. Do you two keep in touch? Why do you contact her so often? Why do I contact her so often? Yoon Daejin didn't seem to understand what she meant at all. Xiao told me that at night. Alright. Go to bed quickly. Yoon Daejin packed up the dishes and started to chase people away. As commanded. Susu, when did you go filming behind our backs? You didn't even tell me. Yao Shui's class was on the other side of the teaching building. She went around to find Yoon-soo and accused her of her behavior. The news about Yoon Shen's filming has gone viral on the forum of number 1 middle school. Countless buildings have been built, and everyone is lamenting that they are so exhausted from class every day that Yoon Shen still has time to film. I made the decision suddenly. I just came back from the gold market last night. Tell me, is Gu Sushi really handsome? I saw your video and I almost cried. How could you be so cruel? Yao Shuij stared with big eyes and an accusing look on his face. He looked at her lovingly. She was Gu Sushi's biggest fan. The students around him also quietly pricked up their ears. You call me cruel? It seems that someone won't be able to get the signed photo of him that I worked so hard to bring back. Yoon-soo pulled out a signed photo of Gu Sushi like a magic trick. Yao Shuij's pupils dilated instantly and screamed, Susu, I was wrong, I love you the most, give it to me now. Take it, Yoon-soo was helpless. Yao Shuij took it, looked at the signatures on the photo, and kissed it hard. He's so handsome. The girls around looked at him with envy. Is this the benefit of being friends with Yunshin? Sour and sour. Lian Yu looked at her resentfully from the side, sighed again, and looked at her again. Qin Cheng also had dull eyes, as if he had been hollowed out. Yunsumi was confused. What are you two going to do? Why does she have signed photos, but Brother Cheng and I don't have anything? Lian Yu said aggrievedly. He and Qin Cheng went to the base for training these 2 days over the weekend, and almost had a layer of skin peeled off. Considering that he was from the Lian family, it was a little better. Qin Cheng was almost trained to death by his uncle's men, and the matter at the racecourse after all, his family found out, and he was criticized a lot. He was simply the most unlucky person in the world. You are not chasing stars, why should I help you? Yoon-soo waved his hands in disgust. Okay, I can treat you to dinner at noon, right? Where to eat? Lian Yu quickly regained his energy and asked expectantly with bright eyes. Canteen. Canteen, his tone was low. Forget it if you don't want to eat it. Eat. Why don't you eat? I want to eat the stir-fry on the second floor. Lian Yu was very satisfied. Okay. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After Rebirth, boss, she is beautiful and sassy. Author, beautiful. Chapter 93. Chapter 93 Illegitimate Daughter? After school at noon, in addition to Lian Yu and Qin Cheng, Yoon-soo also called Yao Shuij and Qing Yu. Since the competition ended and Li Yan and Shen Jinzu were reported, they had very little time to come to school. In the second year of high school, they were divided into different subjects. It was getting harder and harder to get together, let alone have a leisurely meal together. Lian Yu had been tortured for so long, even if he was just eating stir-fried dishes in the cafeteria, he was determined to kill Yunsu severely today, and he frantically ticked off items on the menu. Enough, enough, we can't eat that much for a few of us. Jing Yu couldn't stand his wasteful behavior. If you can't finish eating, I'll pack it away, Lian Yu said bitterly. Okay, do whatever you want. Yunsu already knew what happened to him and Qin Cheng these days. Although he felt a little guilty, he still couldn't help but want to laugh. But Sister Yun, why did you think of filming? You don't know that since my aunt and grandma found out that you were filming, they forced me to download Weibo for them, register an account, and then follow you. I heard that they are still organizing. Your support team is very busy every day. Yunsu couldn't laugh or cry. Is this an exaggeration? You go back and tell Auntie and Grandma Lian that there's no need to bother. I only plan to shoot this one scene. I'm really too tired. If I could persuade you, I wouldn't tell you. Then I'll go to your house tomorrow, and I'll be seeing my aunt. Speaking of this, Lian Yu became excited again. Sister Yun, you are really amazing. My aunt has looked much better recently, and my uncle is also happy. The two of them are working hard every day and night, and Yinga Yan Wu, it turns out that she is the daughter of a wealthy family. No wonder she got this role. Qin Chenmu covered Lian Yu's mouth with a face, and Yao Shuij looked confused. What are you trying for? Qing Yu couldn't help but laugh. In the past 2 days, the story of Tangan has been very popular, and the actor who plays Princess Jining has caused heated discussions. It is lunch break again. Many netizens have seen it and quickly clicked in. Kind Yao Mulan, what? I had just become a fan, and I liked her quite a bit, but then she was exposed to such dirty information, and I was speechless. There are no fireworks on the South Bank. Is it the sailors she invited upstairs? The action was so fast, and everyone around him had already revealed the news. How could there be any lies? The crew needs to change people quickly, otherwise we won't want to watch it. Annan jumped the gun. No, you just believe the news from a marketing account. As soon as she became famous, the negative information was exposed. Isn't it obvious that someone was slandering her? Weibo's hot search list, the entry: the actress who plays Princess Jining in Tanganji is suspected to be the illegitimate daughter of a wealthy family, has been rising all the way, and soon occupied the first place on the hot list. Bagua Travel Agency. Recently, the new drama The Story of Tangan, adapted from the work of the famous writer and screenwriter Liu Yanqi, directed by Gu Liangziu, has caused heated discussion on the internet. The sole character of the drama, Princess Jining, is played by a famous actress, a little-known amateur. It is reported that the new actor named Y is a sophomore in high school. Although he has excellent grades and good looks, according to insiders, the actor's family conditions are average. He grew up in a rural area and his mother died young. Transferred to Lanchinj last year, and is suspected of having some unclear relationship with the Yun family, a wealthy family in Lanchinj. When he was in school, he had conflicts with the daughter of the Yun family, and also had conflicts with school teachers. I wonder, how can a person of this kind of character interpret the beautiful and noble Princess Jining in the hearts of readers? Qin Cheng glanced at Yunsu. She was still eating her own food. She looked unhurried and could not see any fluctuations in her mood. Please see? The more these people look at each other, the uglier their faces become. What does this mean? Doesn't it just mean that Susu is an illegitimate daughter? They bully Yun Yan and contradict the teacher. Are they worthy? Yao Shuij threw away his chopsticks and became furious. Sister Yun, look at Weibo. Lian Yu suddenly jumped up from his chair. Who the is talking nonsense on the internet? You must be impatient. The taste of the cafeteria of number 1 middle school has always been commendable. Lian Yu's mouth was shiny after eating, and he was playing with his mobile phone while waiting for them after being satisfied. Attached to the bottom of the article are various interviews with people who know Yoonsu and those who don't know Yoonsu. The entire article starts from her study and life. It uses obscure words and phrases, which can easily make people feel bad about Yoonsu. Lianyu lowered his head to eat, not daring to speak anymore. Qin Chen moved the chair further away from him in disgust. Zai and Wangshu, yes, why not Qin Shuer? She was born as a child star, and everyone watched her grow up, so she was clean and tidy, at least there was no dirty stuff. Everyone stopped their chopsticks, took out their mobile phones and opened Weibo. He and Lianyu knew the inside story. It was clear that Yoonsu was the daughter of the Yoon family, but she was occupied by someone else. Now, someone is using this to slander her. To be fair, if it were him, he would never do it. To feel at peace. Qing Yu, who has always been good-tempered, also clenched her hands, with sparks in her eyes. It was even more uncomfortable for someone to slander Yoonsu than for someone to bully her. It's nothing, let's eat some food quickly. Yoonsu glared at Lianyu and gave Yao Shuij a piece of ribs. Qin Cheng quietly sent a message to his brother-in-law. Yoonsu looked at his worried eyes and smiled. What are you looking at me for? Do you think I will be angry or sad? You think too much. They are just a bunch of clowns, not worth it. Eat first, and then talk after you finish. Hello, Yoonsu's cell phone rang. Muji, it was Qin Jiao's call. When Qin Cheng heard this, he almost choked on the soup in his mouth. Is he admiring it? This name seems to be the epitome of his wise and martial uncle. Only Mr. Qin and Mrs. Qin would always call him that. Are Susu and his uncle so close? I've seen all the news on the internet, do you need me to handle it? Qin Jiao's faint voice could not detect any emotion or anger, but it made people feel uncomfortable for no reason. No, how can the dignified fifth master of the Qin family take action on such a trivial matter? I know what to do, so you don't have to worry. Yoonsu knew that Qin Jiao was not a person who was keen on the internet. He could see the news on the internet so quickly just because he cared about her. The last video was deleted. Yoonsu had guessed whether Qin Jiao did it. Okay, tell me if you need anything. At worst, he would watch first and then take action later. Looking at everyone's tasteless food, Yoonsu sighed. She really didn't care about this, so why didn't anyone believe it? Yoonsu pulled out her Weibo and retweeted the crew's Weibo comment, which already had tens of thousands of comments. Before, most of them were praising her, but now almost all of the new comments were asking her about her relationship with the Yoon family. They were using vicious words. There were also many curses. Some netizens who acted quickly have even found photos of Yoon's family. Yoon Yan's photo was placed in her comment area. Yoon Yan's smile is peaceful and beautiful, and netizens almost unanimously praised her. There are no fireworks on the South Bank. Sure enough, compared with the real daughter, someone really pales in comparison. Yoonsu typed on the keyboard and replied, "Thank you, just treat it as if you are complimenting me." Cerebellar juicer, she grew up in a rural area, how could she be able to ride a horse? And with these results, it can be seen that she received an elite education. Couldn't she have been raised outside by Chairman Yoon since she was a child? Yoonsu replied, "Your cerebellum has been squeezed, and I don't blame you for not being able to imagine the gap in human IQ. Besides, the one in the photo upstairs should be raised outside. It's ridiculous to think that Pig is the name of a human being. It's ridiculous that Princess Chining is played by such a person. Boycott this drama and definitely won't watch it." Yoonsu replied, "If the eyes are not needed, they can be left to those in need." Sure enough, there are so many people in the world, and there are always some troublemakers. Richard, Fei Jin, if you don't understand respecting teachers, what's the use of having good grades? Yoonsu replied, "Not everyone is worthy of being a teacher, and not everyone is worthy of being pushed here. What's wrong with my grades? It's really hard for me to smell your sour smell. Yunsu was feeling refreshed after quarreling with a bunch of people. Several people around him were stunned. Lian Yu swallowed his saliva and said, Sister Yun, it turns out that you are so venomous when you talk a lot. You should talk less. I still like your reticent look, but now, well done. The stagnant atmosphere relaxed and everyone laughed. Yunsu rolled his eyes and posted another Weibo post. Asusu 2121, can Chairman Yun please come out and clarify? I don't think I need to say it in person. Soon, there was a series of comments below. Mariko Banana, why do I think she is so handsome when she attacks people, Her reply really made me laugh to death. Is that big brother who squeezes the juice from the cerebellum still there? Ha 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 ha. Josa0987, I think a girl with this kind of personality wouldn't do those things, so I'll give you a follow-up. If I understand correctly, she means that the daughter of the Yun family is a fake? I was confused. Favorite Shen Yingying, this way of whitewashing is also quite interesting. It's really blinding that some people still like her when she speaks so viciously. Yunsu's series of operations simply made it difficult for netizens to keep up. From her reply, everyone also discovered that there seemed to be something hidden in this matter, and they all asked the Yun group's official account to give an explanation. End of this chapter. After Rebirth, boss, she is beautiful and sassy. Author, beautiful. Chapter 94. Chapter 94, Unexpected. Good job, that's what it is. Shenying looked at her phone and showed a satisfied smile. It was rare for her to speak pleasantly to her assistant. She was in a good mood now. The more fierce the public opinion on the internet, the better it would be for her. Thank you for the compliment, Sister Yingying, but will we cause trouble if we involve the Yun group? The assistant was a little worried. Trouble? How can a wealthy family like theirs care about so much gossip news every day? Unless that Yunsu is really related to the Yun family, but even then, she is just a disgraceful illegitimate daughter. If the Yun family really, if you don't care, you can directly invest in making her the heroine, there is no need to compete for such a supporting actress. Shen Ying was very confident and thought she understood the nature of these wealthy families, but she never thought that some people simply disdained these so-called wealthy families. Wait a minute, Sister Yingying, Yunsu has posted on Weibo. What was sent, clarification or admission? No. Look, the assistant handed her the phone, she asked the Yun group to come out and reply. Shen Ying's eyes widened in disbelief, is she crazy? It's too arrogant to order someone to come out and make a statement in this tone, even if it's an illegitimate daughter, isn't it? Shen Ying didn't see Yunsu's replies to netizens. She always thought that she was at most the illegitimate daughter of Chairman Yun of the Yun group. She felt that Yunsu was extremely stupid. Could she be trying to force the Yun family to use this method? Recognize her? Shen Ying thought for a while and smiled again, since she wants to be like this, let's make the fire burn brighter. You can find a few reporters and go to Yun's house, and then. Okay, Sister Yingying, I'll do it right away. Yes, I know, I will handle it. Yuntu hung up the phone with a gloomy expression, the board of directors has been alarmed. This matter must be resolved as soon as possible. Some reporters outside the villa are now standing guard there like cats that have seen a fishy smell. Although the security of the villa is excellent and they cannot get in, it is annoying just thinking about it. This kind of news was exposed while eating out at noon. At that time, the other ladies looked at her wrongly. She could only find an excuse to leave the dinner, and she was completely embarrassed. Hello, Uncle Meng, someone from the board of directors called, and Yuntu quickly braced himself to deal with it. Husband, what should I do? People outside say that Susu is an illegitimate daughter. This is too ugly. Doesn't it bring shame on our whole family? Suzayuling got angry and asked Yuntu to think of a solution quickly. It's not that Yuntu has regrets. He shouldn't have impulsively asked Yunsu to follow Yoon Daejin. He asked Suzayuling to go to Yunsu again and again, but he didn't get any good looks. He couldn't lose his face anymore. But every time I learned about Yunsu's current situation from Suzayuling, I still felt a little regretful. Yunyan looked at Yunjing with tears in her eyes. Brother, if I tell anyone about how I will behave in the future, people in the school will look down on me. They will definitely say that I robbed her family and her life, but these are not my fault, are they? Yun too was in a state of distress. No matter how he expressed his opinion on this matter, it would be wrong. Yoon Soo was of course not his illegitimate daughter, but Yoon Yan's identity could not be exposed. It was all Yoon Soo's fault for not studying hard at school and acting in the play of Lao Shize. So many things are involved now. What are you talking about? Yoon Tu looked at the son he had carefully raised with disappointment. Let the outside world know that our Yoon family adopted the wrong daughter, and now our daughter is still living with her adoptive father. Where should we put our face? What will others think of us? I understand, it will not affect the reputation of the group, don't worry. Yoon Jing pursed his lips, hesitated, and finally said, why can't you say it? This is the fact. Xiao Yan is the daughter of our Yoon family. This will not change no matter what. We are already very sorry for Yoon Soo. Why can't I even give her an identity and a truthful explanation? This is so unfair to her. Yoon Yan sat aside, silent. In her heart, her parents were already favoring her even before they decided to break off the relationship with Yoon Soo. How about contacting Yoon Soo and asking her to post a clarification on Weibo first, and then we can cooperate with her? Yoonjing tentatively expressed his thoughts. She is a girl, how can she be so strong and stubborn? Even his own daughter dare not admit it? Is this what the Yoon family calls saving face? Yunding could not understand and could not change their minds. Didn't you see the Weibo post she sent? She is just waiting for me. She wants us to clarify her and Xiao Yan's identities. How is this possible? Yunjing was silent, and Suzayuling hugged her daughter distressedly. Don't cry, no one will tell you anything, Mom won't let this happen. Uncle Meng is an old man since his father was here, and he easily does not interfere in the operation of the group. This shows that the people on the board of directors are dissatisfied. Yoon Tu thought for a while and made a call, the Ministry of Public Affairs. I will immediately post a statement on the official WeChat account and say, husband, isn't this a little bad? What's wrong is that she didn't force her to do anything. She wants our Yoon family to cut off their relationship, so we'll do whatever she wants, Yoon Tu said angrily. As soon as Suzayuling heard this, any guilt she felt disappeared. After Yoon Soo posted that Weibo post, she ignored it. She was delayed for 2 days while filming on the weekend. She had too many things to do. After coming out of the institute's laboratory, she saw the statement on the Yoon Group's official blog. Yoonchi Group would like to make a statement here. Mr. Yoon-tu, the chairman of Yoonchi Group, and his wife only have one son and one daughter. If any behavior that slanders his family continues to be discovered, the legal department of Yoonchi Group will reserve the right to pursue him legal liability rights. In the eyes of netizens, this statement clarified the relationship with Yoon Soo. Although it clarified that Yoon Soo was not Yoon-tu's illegitimate daughter, Yoon Soo was also ridiculed by netizens, saying that she was taking advantage of the popularity. I knew it was a lie. If she were really the daughter of a wealthy family, even if she was just an illegitimate daughter, she wouldn't come to compete with others for such a supporting role, right? Of course, I don't mean to ridicule Gu Dao's work. When oranges grow in Huainan, they are oranges. Didn't she sound so crazy that others would come out to clarify? This is coming. The other side said, no, just forget about her connotation and other people's affairs. Ma Bai Yunduo, she is also a victim, okay. She was splashed with dirty water for no reason. Who can bear it? Yoonsu read a few posts at random and felt a little irritated. She moved her fingers and forwarded this Weibo post. Asusu 2121, a daughter? Are you talking about the imposter in your family? Yoonsu didn't want to do this at first, but he was really disgusted by the Yoon family's attitude. Netizens who had nothing better to do smelled the melon and squatted under Yoonsu's Weibo early. As soon as she posted it, the next second, there were dozens or hundreds of comments. Hurry up and help me to see the cat. What? What? Counterfeit. Mama said that it takes a lot of brains to choose a name, damn it. What a wealthy man. I've got it. Little man, hey, this is not a joke, this lady is really brave. The person in my eyes, the hype is over, it's better to go back and study hard. Yoontu, who is always paying attention to the trends on the internet, saw Yoonsu's Weibo, and his lungs were about to explode. He wanted to calm down the matter, but he wanted to let the whole world know that she was good. Yoontu picked up the phone and dialed Yoonsu. After 3 rings, Yoonsu answered. What on earth do you want to do? Why do we feel so sorry for you? Yoontu shouted angrily. Yoonsu took the phone a little further and said casually, I'm sorry? No. Don't you just want to expose your and Xiao Yan's identities by bringing up so many things? If you want to come back, I can consider it. After all, you are our biological daughter. I still care about our blood relationship, but you must delete it immediately. He took off Weibo and issued a statement to clarify Xiao Yan. Yoonsu was almost amused by him. I remember that you graduated from a prestigious school. Do you know what clarification means? First of all, I have to clarify. As for going back, I don't care about it. Okay, okay, okay. Yoontu was very angry and said okay 3 times in a row. You don't care, this is what you said, then you should never step into the Yoon family's door again in your life. Can't get what you ask for. End of this chapter. After Rebirth, boss, she is beautiful and sassy. Author, beautiful. Chapter 95. Chapter 95 True and Fake Daughter of Gold. After hanging up the phone, Yoonsu conveniently posted the recording of the call online, then exited Weibo and ignored it. Little did he know how big a stir this Weibo post had caused on the internet. No need to remind netizens, netizens all knew who the 2 people were talking to. Hurry up and help me see the cat, is this Chairman Yoon? He said that Yoonsu was his biological daughter, so who was the daughter of the Yoon family who was sent out before? Little man, hey, didn't you already tell me that he is a fake? Sure enough, the wealthy family is in deep trouble, it's too chaotic. Ridiculous, it's already 2021 and there is still such a thing as a real or fake daughter. Sure enough, reality is more than TV series and movies. Zionan's a soda, no, isn't the point of this family's attitude? He left his own daughter alone and refused to acknowledge her identity. Wasn't the Weibo post posted by the Yoon group just to disassociate himself from her? Being a parent does not require an exam, and everything you have is taken away by others. If I were this little sister, I don't know how sad I would be. Rice cake little rabbit, fortunately, this young lady has also grown up very well, she is beautiful, and she is a great scholar. Her first drama in the entertainment industry was directed by Gu. Apart from her family, she really ticks all the boxes. Some netizens also expressed doubts. Yi xiao xiao, do you believe it just based on a recording? Besides, even if it were true, I don't believe she could really give up so much wealth. I want to make everything go back to before it happened. Wherever she came from, it's better to go back to where she came from. No. It has been almost 10 years since Yoon-tu took over the company from his father, and this is the first time he has been treated like this by the board of directors. He just can't get angry yet, so he can only agree repeatedly. Mahibeo, it is really interesting to discard others as a baby. Okay, Very good, you still want to play with me? Yuntu laughed angrily. I originally took this blood relationship into consideration, but now, Don't bother me, Yuntu sat aside, the air pressure around him was extremely low. Not long after Yunsu's Weibo was posted, someone from the board of directors called again with an extremely dissatisfied tone, asking him to handle his family affairs as soon as possible and don't affected the company. Hurry up and help me to see the cats. Are you still so proud of taking away other people's lives? How do you have the nerve to show off this? You don't have to worry about it, Yun-tu interrupted her and walked away without giving her any color. Yun-tu couldn't swallow this breath. Amateur who unexpectedly became popular, a good background, an elite education, and a lot of knowledge, these should all belong to another person. Husband, please say something quickly. Soon, someone found Yunyun's Weibo. Although she did not show her face, based on her daily Weibo posts and the information in the previously exposed photo, netizens followed the clues and determined her Weibo. It can be called a contemporary Liyuan hook. But now, a large number of netizens have flocked to her Weibo. After reading her Weibo posts, they immediately started mocking mode. Little Annie-chan, a technical expert, has long compared this recording with the voice of Yuntu participating in the interview. It is indeed a person, and there is no sign of synthesis. Moreover, it has only been half an hour since her last Weibo. Even if it is fake, it cannot be so fast, understand? Classmate Luo Xiao, I heard that you have never visited your biological father. I want to say, do you really sleep well at night? Yunyun's Weibo is called Yi Duo Yun's daily life. The things she posts on Weibo are about having afternoon tea with her sisters, buying new luxury bags, and her daily life of learning piano and art classes. It can be seen at a glance that this is the daily life of a delicate and pampered rich lady. Yunyun was scrolling through her phone at home. The dazzling comments were cutting her flesh and blood like knives. She frantically smashed the phone to pieces on the ground. Suzayuling was angry and distressed. It's okay, don't care what others say, we don't need others to dictate our family's affairs. Soon, the term true and fake daughter was ranked as the top trending search item. Many netizens who didn't know why clicked on it and were choked by this constant reversal. One night, netizens on Weibo were like it's like a crocodile in the melon field, jumping around, looking for clues and wanting to dig deeper. Because of this, she also attracted a wave of fans. Every time she posted a blog, someone commented below that she was a real socialite and wanted to be friends with her, which greatly satisfied Yunyun's vanity. Husband, what are you going to do? Suzayuling asked in panic. Suzayuling looked at her husband, who rushed upstairs angrily, and her daughter, who was still sobbing softly. Her heart ached. What was going on? Yunjing couldn't stand the farce and went back to his room to rest early. He held his phone and hesitated for a long time before sending a message to Yunsu. Sorry. Yunsu over there was still writing a lab report at home and didn't pay attention to Dao Yunjing's news. Even if she saw it, she wouldn't pay attention to it. This is destined to be a sleepless night for many people. On the campus forum of No. 1 Middle School, the number of posts about building construction is flooding the screen at an alarming rate. When the incident of the Yun family broke out, they were definitely the most surprised. Shocked my whole family, Yun Shen turned out to be the child of the Yun family, and Yun Yan turned out to be a fake. Who said it wasn't the case? That Yun Yan looked gentle every day, but I didn't expect him to be this kind of person. Do you still remember that there were rumors that Yun Shen was adopted by the Yun family, but Yun Shen did not admit it? The rumors were self-defeating. If I could adopt a child like Yun Shen, my parents might trade me for it. I am in the same class as Yun Yan, and I testify that the news that Yun Shen was adopted was because she deliberately misled others to think so. Actually, there's another thing. Didn't the Yun family hold a birthday party before? It was the birthdays of Yun Shen and Yun Yan, and they actually said that they were twins. I was really amused at the scene and made everyone think they were blind. I'm here too, and I broke another news. At the banquet, Yun Yan plagiarized a piece of Yun Shen's song, claiming that it was composed by herself. As a result, Yun Shen slapped her in the face and exposed her. No, these guys upstairs, you already knew why you are just talking about it now. The atmosphere at that time was too embarrassing. In order to save the face of the Yun family, the family said it could not be spread outside. But now, the whole world knows it, ha 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 ha. I have long been dissatisfied with Yun Yan. He pretends to be like a white lotus in his prime, pretending to be aloof. You all scold Yun Yan, am I the only one who feels sorry for Yun Shen? With such a life experience and such eccentric parents, I don't know how she survived, woo woo woo. Don't talk about it upstairs, I burst into tears too. Wait a minute, is that Yash not far from the school owned by Yun Shen's adoptive father? The taste is really amazing. Uncle works so hard every day, we can take care of the business more, and we can be regarded as Yun Yan Jiun God, ha ha ha. Sure. Everyone go early, business is so good, and late in the evening they are all sold out. The direct consequence of this was that the next day, Yoon Daejin looked at a long line of students wearing uniforms of number 1 middle school in a daze. What's going on today? In the past, the students of number 1 middle school had to race against time to buy food. How could they have time to wait in such a long queue today? Yoon Daejin does not surf the internet, so he naturally does not know all the changes on the internet in recent days, and Yoon-soo did not tell him to cause trouble. Uncle, come on, life will get better and better, the sentimental classmate bought food and said to Yoon Daejin emotionally. Ah. Okay, thank you, you are the same, so are you, monk? Yoon Daejin Jong-er was confused. Ching Yu on the side pursed her lips and smiled, and she naturally knew why. Uncle Yoon, let me come. You go to the kitchen and rest for a while. She was afraid that Yoon Daejin would doubt his life if he stayed any longer. Okay. Yoon Daejin was looked at by these strange eyes and felt a little hairy. He handed over the work to Ching Yu and went to work in the kitchen by himself. Next person. I want braised pork sausage, 20 pieces is enough, chop it up a little. Okay. Ching Yu worked quickly. The smoke and fire in the world is the most soothing to people's hearts. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After Rebirth, boss, she is beautiful and sassy. Author, beautiful. Chapter 96. Chapter 96 Test successful. Look, that's Yunyan from class 1, grade 2, the one mentioned on the internet. Yo, she still has the nerve to come to school. That's why I didn't realize she was this kind of person before. Stay away from her, this kind of person is too scary. The strange looks and hushed comments from the people around her penetrated Yunyan's mind. People who used to please her also stayed away from her, as if they were afraid of contracting some virus. She clenched her hands into fists, and her rounded nails almost pierced into her flesh, but she felt no pain at all. The pain and hatred in her heart almost turned into reality. Yoon-soo revealed the things she had always wanted to hide in such an understatement. It was not her fault that she was wronged. Why should all the mistakes be attributed to her? Why? Xiao Yan, don't take it to heart, they are talking nonsense. A girl who had always had a good relationship with Yunyan hesitated and comforted her. Originally, she thought Yunyan was going too far, but seeing how everyone was attacking her now, she felt a little pitiful. This was not a choice she could make. It doesn't matter, I won't take it to heart, thank you. Yunyan quickly adjusted her mood and showed a shallow smile. Anyway, my parents only recognize me as their daughter. Even if these people look down on her now, so what, she is still the only daughter of the Yoon family, and she must be the one who laughs last. She is just waiting for Yunsu and her poor adoptive father to be driven back to the barren countryside. Sister Ching sighed, you did something wrong and offended someone you shouldn't have offended. No one can help you. It took a long time for the other party to answer the call, and even after the call was answered, the other party did not speak. She completely forgot that it was her biological father who was poor in her eyes. Sister Ching, please help me, please think of a way, I beg you, Shenying begged. Sister Ching, are you there? Shenying's tone had long lost the subtle arrogance of the past, and was humble and flattering. What did the company say? Did you help me with public relations? There are paparazzi outside my house. I'm about to die. Driven crazy. Little commotion? Do you know how much trouble you have caused? Sister Ching was also angry. After so many years of leading artists, this was the first time she encountered such a female artist covered in black stuff. She was even banned by the company. He was severely criticized. No, Sister Ching, I didn't mean that. Shenying realized that her tone was wrong and quickly apologized. Sister Ching is the only person willing to answer her call now, and she can't offend her anymore. Ah! Who is it? Who is teasing me? In the dark and opaque room, the furniture was staggered all over the floor. What do you mean? Is the company going to give up on me? I've made so much money for the company, and now it's just a small commotion and they're going to give up on me. Shenying couldn't believe it and shouted like crazy. She didn't dare to open the curtains. There were paparazzi with guns and cannons waiting to see her show. After a moment of silence, she took out her mobile phone and called her agent. After working together for so many years, Sister Ching also softened her tone and said, don't think about clearing your name. Take a break, wait for the limelight to pass, and see if you can still take part in commercial activities. You think I didn't help you, right? In your situation, no public relations company in the industry can save you. Commercial speech. Only artists at the lowest level who are not good at it would accept it. How could Shenying accept such a gap? Shenying's hair is messy, her eyes are red, and her crazy look is clearly on display. She has long lost her dazzling image on the screen. The popularity on the internet comes and goes quickly. Within a few days, the popular little girl Shenying was exposed to a scandal. In order to dedicate her resources to sleeping with an old man, she acted like a celebrity and bullied other actresses in the crew, harassed the veteran movie star, and tried to interfere in his marriage. A series of shocking news instantly diverted the attention of netizens. To put it nicely, it means letting her rest, but in fact, she is being hidden in the snow. Sister Ching on the other side was silent for a while and said, you should take more rest and relax recently. The girl felt that her smile was a bit scary for some reason. The scandal has been getting worse and worse since it was revealed, and she no longer dares to read the news online. Class is about to start, let's go in. Someone who shouldn't be offended, catching this keyword, Shenying's originally dull eyes focused instantly. Who are you talking about? Who is it? Anyway, it's not someone you can offend. Not only you and me, but the company can't afford to offend either. I would like to advise you, don't do stupid things, and take care of yourself. Sister Ching said this and hung up the phone. Shenying was stunned. She had always been aware of current affairs. How could she not offend someone who the company could not afford to offend? Etc. The only person she's had with recently is one. Yunsu. Shenying's eyes burst out with bone-gnawing hatred. She was the only one. How could she, a high school student, do this? Who is supporting her behind her back? Fifth Master, the matter is done. Qinju walked to Qinjiao, lowered his head and whispered. Qinjiao nodded lightly. She was just a female star, who gave her the courage to provoke Yunsu. Since she likes to break the news, she will make enough. What's going on with Fang Qizi recently? Qinjiao asked. There's nothing happening, I'm still drinking and gambling every day. Fang Qizi was injured and went to the hospital last time. Before he could recover, Qin Ju led someone to break his other hand. He lay in the hospital for a long time. He was kicked out of the hospital until he had no money to pay the hospitalization fee. After he was discharged from the hospital, still hanging around, drinking and playing cards all day long. Continue to watch and report to me if there is any situation. Qin Jiao didn't want any dangerous factors around Yunsu. Yes, Fifth Master. She had no idea what Qin Jiao was doing for Yunsu behind the scenes. In the past few days, the institute had reached the final critical moment. She asked for a few more days off and dove in, even with Yunchinj. Don't even care. Each department is preparing to conduct the final test immediately, Yunsu said to the assistant beside him. Yes, the assistant beamed with joy and hurriedly went down to make arrangements. Soon, everyone responsible for the project was ready and everyone was looking forward to it. Ready to take off. With an inaudible sound, the new drone they developed took off, and everyone's eyes moved accordingly. Flying at normal speed. The reconnaissance function is normal. The communication function is normal. Weapon system is normal. The intelligent planning system is normal. One functional test after another was completed, and the joy on everyone's faces became more and more intense. The test is completed, all functions are normal, and the new drone has been successfully developed. Marvelous. Great, it finally worked. As the tester's last words came out, everyone cheered and looked excited, as if their efforts over the past few months had been in vain. Yunsu is undoubtedly the #1 contributor to the success of this project, and Yang Xiao is also excited. It's great. This new type of drone is delivered to the army, which is a considerable military force. He walked up to Yunsu, put his legs together, and performed a standard military salute. Thank you. Yun Gong. Yang Xiao took out a box and opened it. Inside was a golden medal, solemn and exquisite. Yunsu was stunned. What is this? This is a medal that our military region specially gives you to apply for. In addition, we will retain your expert status. As long as you have any technological creations or fantastic ideas, you can contact me at any time. I will be your direct contact person. Yunsu didn't expect this to happen. The medal had been prepared in advance, which showed that the military area had already made up its mind to keep her. Okay, thank you. Since they were so sincere, Yunsu accepted it. It was just a title anyway, and the initiative was in her hands. End of this chapter. After Rebirth, boss, she is beautiful and sassy. Author, beautiful. Chapter 97. Chapter 97. Value it so much. Yang Xiao from the capital base is here to report. In the tightly guarded compound, men in straight clothes loudly reported and saluted. The guard carefully checked his identity information before letting him go. Go in, the leader is waiting for you. Yes. Yang Xiao pushed open a closed door and immediately saluted solemnly. Hello, Dean. Inside was Ning Ziwen, who had met Yunsu once before. In addition to him, there was also an old man with gray hair. Although he was old, he still sat upright with sharp eyes. He had a calmness about him that could only be found after going through the baptism of wind and rain. Wearing a simple Chinese tunic suit, his scholarly character is fully displayed. This is an unfathomable character. Yang Xiao, have everything in Lanchinj been settled? Ning Ziwen asked. Director of the report, the processing has been completed soon, the new drone will be put into large-scale production and will be truly tested. Okay, very good, I'll remember you. The gray-haired old man put his hands on his hands and laughed, extremely happy. What's her attitude like? This is the top concern above. Yes, Dean, we just did our duty. Yang Xiao is Ning Ziwen's subordinate. Of course, he has to be humble for him, but he can't hide the pride on his face. Ning Ziwen nodded, Heroes come from young. The good thing is that there need to be more people like this little girl, so that society can progress and the nation can prosper. After a moment of silence, Li Biding suddenly smiled and said, "There is no need to be so nervous. I think this little girl is quite good now and is willing to share her achievements. To be honest, if her work is used to collaborate with others, I believe that there will be a lot of people vying to find her with their money, but she didn't do that, which shows that she still has a heart of dedication, which is a good thing. We can't think of the worst in everything, so as not to hurt the heart of the hero. The bosses have been very concerned about the progress of the new drone project, but Yunsu may not have thought that a piece of work she took out would alarm so many people. This question is difficult to answer. It has to do with his impression of Yunsu. Yang Xiao thought for a while and carefully phrased his words. Based on my contact and understanding with her during this period, she is very serious about work. She is a dedicated and hard-working person. In terms of personality, she is not like her peers. She is very mature, thoughtful and unfathomable. I am ashamed to say that many times I cannot figure out her thoughts at all. Overall, she is very. He thought of Yunsu's eyes when he met her, showing awe and bounds. Thank you to the leader, Yang Xiao dare not take credit. She is so smart, knows how to invent, create, do medicine, compose, and act. I heard that she is also quite good at computers. This little girl is really amazingly biting side. She is truly a talented person from generation to generation. I personally delivered it into her hands, and I told her what you told me. Ning Ziwen also sighed, yes, although I have only met Yunsu once, I believe that she is a good child with a clear mind. Li Biding pondered for a while and asked, you are the person who has been in contact with her for the longest time. In your opinion, what kind of person is this little girl? Fine. What about the little girl? Did you give her the medal? Li Biding asked. Just as Yunsu thought, when the institute decided to cooperate with her, all 18 generations of her ancestors were investigated. From the time she was born, every detail was put on the table of the leaders above, and nothing suspicious was found. The place. Yang Xiao used the word scary to describe Yunsu, but both of them understood what he meant. Sometimes, there is only a thin line between genius and madman, especially if a genius like her goes astray, the consequences will be unthinkable. The old man known as the dean is none other than Li Biding, the dean of the Huiguo Jingcheng Research Institute, a truly legendary figure in Huiguo who can shock 3 people with just a stomp of his feet. Regarding medical skills, they also sent people to check on Mr. Su from Xiashui town whom she mentioned before. There was indeed such a person. He was an educated youth who went to the countryside. He was indeed proficient in medical science, but he has passed away and has no relatives or descendants. There was no way to verify whether Yunsu had studied medicine with him, and they did not delve into it. The higher UPS also knew about the establishment of a gaming company with Junya Group, but they only passed it by. They felt that the little girl just wanted to start a business, so they did not stop her. Only when Yunchinj came out later did they know that how much has been missed. But now, they still don't know. Now they are just thinking about how to retain her heart. After all, she is young and has too many temptations from the outside world. As I said before, you are solely responsible for handling Yunsu's affairs. If she has any major situation, report it immediately. In addition, send 2 people from the base to protect her in the dark. I'm afraid some people with ulterior motives will keep an eye on her. After explaining some specific matters about Yunsu to Yang Xiao, Li Biding suddenly thought of something. By the way, has the name of the new drone been decided? Not yet, we all follow the instructions above, Yang Xiao replied. Li Biding said, let's call it Liu Yun. It is unpredictable and unpredictable. Liu Yun? This is a good name, and it is well received. Ning Ziwen touched it and felt that this name was well received. Liu Yun. Cloud. Yang Xiao was shocked. Didn't this just add Yunsu's surname? He didn't expect that the superiors would value Yunsu so much, and the importance he attached to Yunsu increased in his heart. In fact, if it was just because of this new drone, the above would not have achieved this level, but what they value is the potential of Yunsu. Since she can take out this kind of thing at will, it will definitely bring them more surprises. They are playing a long game to catch the big fish. On Yunsu's side, the successful completion of this project has put her mind at ease. The crew of The Legend of Tangan has to finish filming the scenes in the palace before coming to Lanchinj, so she is currently you can now concentrate on Yunchinj's progress. Yunsu had promised to be Nova's guest at the concert before. Butler said that he would let Yunsu try out the music and rehearse first. Yunsu thought about his recent schedule and agreed. Susu, look, are these the medicinal materials you said are needed for detoxification? Yunsu received news from Huntangshi that the medicinal ingredients in the prescription she had prescribed before were ready and asked her to check it. Ji Sunkai originally planned to stay in Lanchinj to take care of him, but he suddenly received news a few days ago that there was a patient who urgently needed him to come and take a look at him, so Jun Tamshi couldn't decide to pay attention, so he asked Yunsu to come over and take a look. There were many brocade boxes on the table, containing various precious medicinal materials. Yunsu put on gloves and looked at them one by one. She picked up each medicinal plant, first looked at it, then smelled it, and analyzed it carefully. Konglu, not bad. Panlong ginseng, good quality. The fragrance of passing mountains, the vintage is fine. Pantheli, philodendron, lantana, green brittle branch, black cypress, witwood. After reading everything, Yunsu nodded with satisfaction. Yes, everything is correct, and the medicinal materials are all ready. Jun Tamshi and Jun Wei were overjoyed when they heard this. Really? When can we start detoxifying? Jun Tamshi asked impatiently. Didn't I say it before? It will take some time to detoxify. His poison has been accumulated for a long time, so there is no rush. Okay, we will listen to you. Jun Tamshi also realized that he was too eager. Well, get ready, now let's get the needle in. Good. End of this chapter. After Rebirth, boss, she is beautiful and sassy. Author, beautiful. Chapter 98. Chapter 98 Master Nova. At the capital airport in Beijing, at the airport pickup gate, countless excited reporters were waiting with guns and cannons in hand, staring at the exit for fear of missing something. Most of the journalists are authoritative media in the music industry, and there are even official media. It is enough to see that there is a huge queue of people waiting for them, and the tourists coming and going are looking at it curiously. Why hasn't it arrived yet? Some reporters were waiting anxiously. Others were also surprised. Yes, isn't this the flight coming from Kopthorn City today? The other passengers have all left. Why hasn't Master Nova come out yet? They received reliable news that the world-renowned piano master Nova will arrive in Beijing today to start his concert tour in China. Isn't it the VIP channel? Someone speculated. No, I haven't received any news. The reporters waited stupidly for a long time, but never saw Master Nova, and they looked at each other in confusion. Master Nova and his disciple Butler, who had released reporters' pigeons over there, acted separately from the rest of their team, avoiding reporters and quietly arriving at Lanchinj Airport without alerting anyone. Sir, Lambert said he would come back to pick us up, so I'll call and ask. Butler, wearing sunglasses, said he was still dressed like a playboy, with a cynical smile on his face. Thank you, teacher, you have been worried about me for a long time. Ling Yu also lost control of his emotions. He stepped forward and hugged Nova, saying softly. The two of them walked out quickly and saw Ling Yu at a glance. Good. Me too, Mr. Nova. Yunsu stretched out his hand and shook his hand. Linju has a long body and a graceful temperament, as gentle as jade. No one would have thought that not long ago, he was a decadent young man who could only spend his days in a wheelchair. This is only his third time in China, but because of his mentoring relationship with Ling Yu, he can also speak some simple Chinese. The two of them captured the attention of passengers at the airport. "Good boy, I'm proud of you, you defeated yourself." It was Yunsu who had been standing aside for a long time. She kindly wanted not to disturb their master-disciple gathering, but Linju's legs had been standing for a long time since he came out today, which did not prevent his leg muscles from being overloaded. "Yunsu," they had to interrupt their tender moment loudly. "Lambert said he is at the airport, let's get out quickly." Nova also didn't expect that the owner of the song that haunted him would now be standing in front of him. His smiling eyes were looking at Yunsu. The girl was tall and slender, with a porcelain white face that was not whitewashed and had an aura that was compelling. Nova is wearing a well-tailored handmade suit, his hair is neatly styled, and his blue eyes are as deep as a pool of sea water. The years have left traces on his face. Although he is no longer young, he can still see the charm of his youth, exudes in every gesture and gesture. It has the noble aura of nobility. "My God! Lambert, is your leg okay?" Butler couldn't believe his eyes. He actually saw Alinja standing to greet them. "Lambert, I am so happy for you, thank God." Nova also looked excited, his eyes were red, and he made a cross on his chest with both hands. "Look at my memory, I was so excited that I forgot to introduce you to you. This is the Yunsu I mentioned." Miss Yun Ling Yu calmed down and said in annoyance. "Yun. You're here too. It's been a long time since I last saw you." Butler's eyes shone with surprise. He was so excited that he didn't even notice Yunsu next to him. "Long time no see, welcome to Lanchinj." To prevent Ling Yu's legs from getting tired, the four of them quickly got into the Ling family's car. "Nice to meet you, beautiful girl." He bent down slightly. "That's enough, you've stood for long enough today," a female voice said helplessly. Ling Yu can be said to be Nova's most proud disciple. When he had an accident, Nova felt like a bolt from the blue. Fortunately, he is now alive and well. "By the way, Lambert," Nova also thought of one thing, "there is one more thing I came here this time, that is, I want to thank you in person." He was full of gratitude to the person who cured Lambert, and there was one more thing he wanted to do. "Please help this doctor." "Wait a minute," Butler interrupted Nova with a strange expression. "Sir, don't you know that Dr. Lambert is sitting next to you right now?" Yunsu next to Nova blinked innocently. Nova was stunned. "Are you kidding?" "Butler. Didn't you tell Sir?" Butler asked Linju, who was also stunned. "I thought you told the teacher after you went back." "I thought you said that before." The two brothers looked at each other and were dumbfounded. "Why didn't you say anything?" Nova was completely stunned when he saw that the expressions of several people did not seem to be fake. He was born in an ancient noble family, and his expressions, which were always perfect, almost failed. "Lambert, are you saying that this beautiful girl is not only an excellent composer, but also a doctor with extremely high medical skills?" "God, how old is she?" Nova couldn't believe it. He had no choice but to believe the fact before him. "It's really incredible," Nova sighed. After a while, he finally came to his senses and remembered that he wanted to ask Lambert's doctor for help. He hesitated for a moment and then said, "Yun, can I ask you a favor?" Facing Nova's sincere eyes, Yunsu nodded. "You tell me, I will help you if I can." In the past few days, Yunsu had done his homework in advance and listened to many of Master Nova's songs. He liked his style very much, especially his most famous song "Moonlight Under the Forest." For such a master, Yunsu felt very excited. She was respectful, which was why she took the time to pick up the plane with Ling Yu. "I have a friend. A few years ago, he went skiing and broke his spine and became paralyzed. Can you treat this?" Nova said with earnest eyes. What he was talking about was a very close friend of his, the national treasure singer of our country, Jeffrey Redmayne. After the tragedy, he could no longer stand on his favorite stage, and his personality became increasingly gloomy. No one wants to see him, living his life like a human being, a ghost. After hearing about Lambert, Nova's first reaction was whether this doctor could cure Jeffrey's disease, so he traveled thousands of miles to China to seek medical treatment for him. This still depends on the specific situation. I can't make a conclusion without seeing the patient. Yunsu did not refuse directly, but already gave Nova hope. Then when can you go to country R? Seeing Yunsu's hesitant look, he thought she was worried about the remuneration. Don't worry, we will pay you a generous remuneration. That's not what I meant, it's because I'm currently in school and it's difficult to coordinate my schedule. However, I will go to our Kopthorn city in more than 2 months. 2 months later, the International Mathematics Olympiad was held in our Kopthorn. Okay, I'll wait for you over there then. Thank you so much. Yun Nova was moved, and his mood could not be expressed in words. Although 2 months is not a short period of time, it is nothing compared to the long torture before, and Jeffrey's case is not an emergency. Yunsu nodded. Mr. Nova, you don't have to be so polite. I like the gift you gave Butler to me before, but I haven't thanked you in person yet. Compared to everything you have done, mine is nothing. Nova sighed in her heart. What a beautiful and kind girl. Since Yunsu's time is tight, everyone agreed to audition Yunsu first, and Linju would take care of them later. The three of them quickly arrived at their destination. Linju found a professional recording studio and specially invited his previous producer, the talented musician Song Seun, to record. Lambert, you're here. Song Seun, a literary young man with long hair, walked out of the shed and greeted Lingyu familiarly. The two have collaborated many times and are very familiar with each other. They are one of the few people who knew about Linju's accident. A few days ago, Linju suddenly contacted him and said that he would bring someone to record. He was shocked and asked carefully. Later I found out that his leg was almost healed. Now seeing it with his own eyes, Song Seun was shocked but also happy for him. A song, this is my master Nova, and this is my senior brother Butler. This is the protagonist who will be auditioning today, my friend Yunsu. Lingyu introduced them one by one. The cigarette in Song Seun's mouth fell to the ground instantly. Holy shit. Lambert never said that his master and senior brother were coming, but this was Nova. An enlightening mentor for many classical musicians. He immediately put away the casual look on his face, solemnly greeted Nova and Butler, and shook hands. That's without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Song Xian's charging standards are calculated by the minute. This is the time he managed to squeeze out for Lingyu's sake. He will have other recording arrangements later. Good. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After Rebirth, boss, she is beautiful and sassy. Author, beautiful. Chapter 99. Chapter 99 recording completed. Only one of Song Seun's assistants was in the recording studio, debugging the equipment. I'll come. Song Seun stepped forward to debug it in person. Nova took out the accompaniment he brought, and he recorded and distributed the piano version himself. After Song Seun debugged the equipment, he imported the accompaniment and was ready to play it and listen to it. As he played the outside voice, the studio was very quiet, and pure, clear, broad, and powerful piano music flowed in the studio. Whisper, tell, shout, roar. Progressing layer by layer, it seems desperate but full of vitality, like a flower blooming in a barren land, swaying and weak on the outside, but actually taking root for thousands of miles. Each note seems to shock people's hearts. Even if it is not the first time for several people to listen to it, they are still frightened by the emotion and power contained in the song. This is a song that people cannot forget after listening to it. Is this Mr. Nova's latest work? It's really great. He deserves to be a master. After the last note ended, Song Soon came back to his senses and said excitedly with a red face. Song Soon's pupils trembled. Can we start recording? Yoon Soo asked, ignoring Song Xian's alien-like look. She couldn't wait. Miss Yoon, your singing has made me miss you since the last time we were apart. Do you know? When you sing this song, you are like a proud queen who defends her subjects at all costs, Butler said in an exaggerated tone, racking his brains to think of how to praise Yoon Soo. Is it okay? You ask me, is it okay? Am I worthy of answering this question? Song Soon finally recovered from that state and heard Yoon Soo's words. She turned her head and saw several stiff sculptures. No lyrics needed. If what they heard just now was still the sound of the earth, then what they heard now was like a war song from outside the world. The girl used a way that was close to singing, and the language that no one could understand made everyone understand it. Emotion. He, Song Xian, has been making music for so many years and has seen many musical geniuses. But in front of today's song, he felt that he was just dumping garbage in his ears. The accompaniment sound came to mind in the headphones, and the people outside the glass waited with bated breath. Yoon-soo closed her eyes and slowly opened her mouth. Yoon-soo's voice is not the kind of gorgeous and magnetic voice, nor is it ethereal like that of a mermaid. Her voice is a bit hoarse and grainy, and she speaks to you gently and slowly. Struggle, destruction, and reshaping, it sounds like the sound of steel and iron horses in my ears, and it's like the cry of blood from a Nirvana phoenix. After the last sob ended, Yoon-soo opened her eyes and exhaled a breath of turbid air. It was so pleasant that she didn't even realize it. The recent busy work life had left her with an inexplicable emotion in her heart. Now she was finally relieved. He was almost going crazy and wanted to shake her shoulders to wake her up. Is it okay for you to ask me at your level? What on earth were you thinking? Yoon-soo blinked in confusion. What's going on? May I? Song Soon quickly replied, okay, you can adjust the accompaniment and vocal volume first. By the way, why are there no lyrics? The expressions of several people were blurred, as if they were caught in a battle that has never existed before and today, and they could not extricate themselves. Everyone was a member of this war, fighting with life, fighting with pain, separated and entangled with another self, in the state of sobriety and confusion. Ups and downs, looking for a way forward. He was still wondering how Master Nova's works could be sung by an unknown girl, but now he realized that the real author turned out to be this girl. Song Soon was stunned. What does this mean? Yoon-soo had already walked in, put on her headphones, held the microphone with one hand, and gestured okay with the other hand. She was ready. Nova smiled and shook his head. He pointed at Yoon-soo. It's not me. The author is the girl who wants to record the song. Good girl, I knew that your singing and piano accompaniment would be the perfect way to express the song. I can't wait to perform on stage with you. Nova was so excited that she danced with joy and her praise was beyond words. This girl is simply a demon that can capture people's hearts. She is actually a guest on Master Nova's tour? Song Soon's expression was already numb. He asked Ling Yu in a low voice, where did you know this kind of immortal? I've never heard of the music industry. Isn't she the little junior sister your master accepted for you? No. Just my friend Linja denied his suspicion, but suddenly recalled his first meeting with Yoon-soo. In the evening, in the exhibition hall, the girl stood in front of the painting for a long time. She was full of mystery and story. He looked at it for a long time, and unexpectedly walked up to talk to her. The step he took can be said to be the most fortunate step in his life. Song Soon thought it would take a long time, but in the end he only re-recorded some minor details. The recording ended soon, and he didn't spend too much time in post-processing to modify the sound. The pure feeling is the biggest weapon of this song. As soon as the accompaniment harmonized with the vocals, Songsun introduced the song. "What's the name of this song?" Songsun asked the question on everyone's mind. Yunsu's eyes drifted for a moment, as if he was recalling, "It's called The Wind Rises." When the wind blows, it's time to fight. After thanking Songsun, the group of people prepared to leave. Nova and Butler were tired from traveling all the way. Before leaving, Songsun shamelessly asked Nova for an invitation letter to the concert. He didn't dare to imagine how long Master Nova's piano sounds and this girl's singing would last. He must be there. Experience the song live. At nightfall, Yunsu was lying on the bed, her hands folded behind her neck, and the song she recorded today was still playing in her headphones. After thinking about it, she took out her phone and shared the song with Qin Xiao. The phone flashed quickly and rang, and Qin Xiao called directly. "It sounds very nice. When did you sing it?" "I went to record today with Ling Yu and his master and brother." "Why haven't you fallen asleep yet?" "There are some documents to be processed temporarily." Yunsu pointed her finger and said, "It's so late. You should be busy tomorrow." "Are you still drinking the prescription I gave you before?" "Yes, I drink it every day and sleep well, don't worry." "You're so good." Yunsu's tone was like coaxing a child. Qin Jiao chuckled, and it was tingling through the receiver. Yunsu touched her ears and felt a little itchy for no reason. "It's time to go to bed, I have to go to class tomorrow." "Okay, good night, you go to bed early too." "Good night." Qin Jiao clicked on the darkened phone screen. The screensaver had bright eyes and a sweet smile. If Yunsu were here, she would have recognized it at a glance as a photo taken on her birthday party. He played the song Yunsu sent again. This was actually not the first time he heard it. On the day of the banquet, Qin Jiao's people were also present, and he saw the video of the scene. The girl singing sounded in the room, and Qin Jiao thought that maybe he wouldn't need to drink medicine in the future. Nova has only 3 performances in China: Jingchang, Haishi, and Lancheng. Originally the third city was Pengcheng, but because of Yunsu, it was changed to Lancheng. The concert is about a week away, and Nova's orchestra will also have to rehearse at the performance venue, and Yunsu will also have to rehearse with Nova several times. Just in the past few days, the crew of The Story of Tangan also came to Orchid City. They entered the closed Orchid Street. Jundangshi gave the green light and sent people to follow the team, asking them to ask if they needed anything. Gu Liangziu knew in his heart that most of this was because of Yunsu. Naturally, his attitude towards Yunsu became better. End of this chapter. After Rebirth, boss, she is beautiful and sassy. Author, beautiful. Chapter 100. Chapter 100. Inviting everyone. Report: in the capital city of Daxia, the city was deserted and deserted. Horses galloped past on dead leaves with their hooves. The horsemen were wearing armor and shouted loudly, breaking the silence of the capital city. On the west side of the capital, 5,000 troops were camped here. These were the last elite soldiers left to Yu Qining by his father, and the rest followed him on the front lines to fight the enemy bravely. Yu Qining was wearing a big cloak and looking in the direction of the city gate outside the tent. Dead leaves were swirling and falling in front of her. It was already late autumn. This battle had been fought for almost 3 years. The bustling capital city in the past was already a bustling city. The city is empty. "Princess, there is a messenger coming from the front to report." Yu Qining's lieutenant came forward to report. Yu Qining's expression changed. "Hurry up." The postman, who had traveled thousands of miles, entered the tent and knelt down with a plop, feeling deeply sad. Yu Qining instantly had a bad premonition, and she hurriedly backed away. "What's the news? Say it quickly." "Princess, your majesty, your majesty, he..." "What's wrong with your father?" Yu Qining stood up and asked anxiously, feeling uneasy in his heart. Yu Qining took it and said, "You go out first." The postman took out a box and said, "This is something that your majesty repeatedly told me before his death that he must deliver it to you. Princess, His Royal Highness is discussing the situation on the front line with General Zhou in the tent. Your Majesty passed away in the county town at the beginning of the day the night before yesterday." The post envoy knelt his head on the ground, his face full of sorrow, and he broke down in tears. His eyes were dazzled, and the sword in Qining's hand was already placed on his neck, and his murderous intent was revealed. How could it happen? The deputy general's eyes widened and he couldn't believe it. How could it happen so quickly with His Majesty in charge? The people in the capital took all the grain away before moving, and they didn't have much left over. It doesn't matter, the front line can't hold out any longer, and Chu's army will soon enter the capital. Father died. Yu Qining stood up angrily and exclaimed, "How is it possible? The day before yesterday, my father had communicated with me. How could it be? Tell me. Are you a spy sent by the Chu state to shake the morale of the army?" With a clang sound, the sword in his hand fell to the ground. Yu Qining's face turned pale and he was about to fall. The imperial edict stated that the throne of the Great Xia Kingdom was passed to the Crown Prince Yu Tangan, but the letter said that if the enemy army entered the capital and they were unable to resist, how to escape unscathed, and all the preparations were listed one by one. There was silence in the pitch-black camp. After Yu Qining sat there all night, he summoned his lieutenant. The backbone of the front line is gone, so what else is there to discuss? Yu Qining could foresee that within 10 days at most, the Chu army would approach the capital. Keep an eye on His Highness the Crown Prince and don't let him act impulsively. Let the soldiers eat and drink well these days, strengthen their training, and stay vigilant at all times. What Wei Chen said is absolutely true. 10 days ago, His Majesty was shot by a stray arrow on the battlefield and fell into a coma. During this period, he only woke up twice. Once, he asked us to block the news. We must not spread the news that he was injured. The second time was the night before yesterday. His Majesty's complexion improved a lot, even the ministers thought that His Majesty had improved. Who would have thought? Did your father say anything before he died? She said with chattering teeth. The lieutenant general hesitated a little, but Princess, we don't have much food anymore. If we eat with an open stomach, I'm afraid. Where is the prince? Her father was still thinking about them before he died, leaving a way for them to survive. Yes, I am resigning. She opened the box, and inside there was a letter written by her father, a bright yellow imperial edict, and the imperial seal. Father has passed away, Yu Qining said calmly, and there was no trace of the loss of control yesterday, but there were blood stains on his hands under his sleeves. What? The deputy general couldn't bear the impact, took a few steps back, and screamed. No wonder, the princess would say this. An army that loses its commander is like losing the first wolf in a pack of wolves. It is vulnerable. Soon, it may be their last battle. This matter is not allowed to be mentioned to anyone, including His Royal Highness. Keep an eye on him. Father has left a route. If necessary, you can take him away. Li Qingyun, the deputy general, is devoted to the country, loyal, and highly skilled in martial arts. He is the best person to entrust him. Li Qingyun's eyes were filled with tears and he was extremely sad. He understood the princess's good intentions and slowly knelt down and kowtowed. I will definitely live up to the trust of your Majesty and the princess and swear to protect the crown prince to the death. Yu Qining has thanked General Li. Her wide sleeves were folded, and she was slightly blessed. At this moment, she was not a princess of a country, but just a grateful sister. Sister, what are you doing? Not far away, a young man in white robe walked over. Nothing. Yu Qining calmed down his expression and changed the subject. How was the discussion with General Zhou? Li Qingyun quickly retreated. Sister, I have a plan. The county and city are currently at war. We can The autumn wind has picked up again, but Yu Qining's back is still straight. Her father is gone, and she must not fall down. Okay, Ka, this one passed, perfect. Gu Liangziu nodded with satisfaction, and the onlookers and staff also applauded. It was a great performance. Yunsu straight back relaxed. She came out of the character state. She now has some taste for acting. Playing another person is like experiencing another person's life, which is quite interesting. Gu Sushi also went aside to rest, and the makeup artist quickly touched up his makeup. Yunsu's part was over, and he still had the next thing to do. Susu, there is only one last scene left for you, Gu Liangziu said to Yunsu. Okay, Yunsu nodded. By the way, are you free on the weekend? What's wrong? Yunsu handed over an invitation letter. I have a performance on the weekend, and I invite you to go and see it. Oh, yes, I will definitely go then. He still had this little time, and Gu Liangziu didn't take it seriously. Look, I put it in the bag aside. Then I'll leave first. Okay, Xiao Su, send Miss Yun back. Xiao Su is the assistant sent by Huntang Shi to follow the team. On the way back, Yunsu gave 2 more invitations to Xiao Su and asked him to pass them on to Uncle Jun and Jun Wei. Susu, do you have time on the weekend? Yao Shuij asked her during lunch. Weekend? I have something to do over the weekend. What's wrong? Huh, Yao Shuij said disappointedly. I wanted to ask you to go to the concert with me, but you don't have time. Just forget it. Yunsu paused while eating. Concert? Yes, Master Nova's tour concert will be held at Lanya Art Museum on weekend nights. Yao Shuij looked fascinated. She has a good family and has been learning piano since she was a child. Master Nova is a myth in the hearts of almost every piano learner. Many students in No. 1 middle school have received an elite education since childhood. The news that Master Nova is going to hold a concert has long spread among the upper circles of Lanchinge. Every family is trying their best to show off their talents for their own children, but it is still difficult to get a ticket. This ticket is going crazy. My dad asked a lot of people to get it. It's a pity. I'll think about who else can go with me. I can go. Really? Aren't you in trouble? Yao Shuij said in surprise. It just so happens that we are the same thing. Isn't this a coincidence? Yao Shuij's eyes widened. What? You were going to the concert? Where did you get the tickets? I don't need a ticket. Huh, Yao Shuij didn't understand. I'll get you something later, let's eat first. 20 minutes later, Yao Shuij looked at the beautiful invitation in his hand and fell into silence. Read it to me, I don't seem to know the words. The gold-gilded squiggles are particularly beautiful, and Yao Shuij speaks with ease. Can you please tell me what does it mean to come to the concert of Mr. Nova and the special guest performer Miss Yunsu? She knew every word when it was taken apart, but when put together, she was completely confused. I only performed one piece, and it didn't last long. Is this a matter of duration? Yao Shuij looked at the unknowing person in Versailles with a resentful tone. You can actually perform on the same stage as Mr. Novan. What have you done? Nothing, just sing a song. Forget it, stop talking, I will die of soreness if you talk any more. She was jealous for only 3 seconds before she became happy again and said happily, if I had known, I would have asked my dad to go around to get tickets. Now I am the one invited by the performer. Yunsu was dumbfounded by the speed of her face change. You can bring your uncle and aunt with you. Forget it, my dad has no musical talent at all. Yao Shuij curled his lips. Then you make the arrangements yourself. Okay. Yao Shuij carefully put the invitation away. Yunsu also gave 2 to Lianyu and Qin Cheng, and asked Lianyu to ask about his family and come with him if he had time. Don't worry, I will definitely go. Lianyu closed his shocked jaw and said confidently. Just kidding, it would be strange if his family didn't rush for a rare performance opportunity like Sister Yun's. Wow, Xiao Yan, "Why do you have so many tickets for Master Nova's concert?" a girl exclaimed, looking at the few tickets that Yunyan accidentally took out, and the title became affectionate. Yunyan showed a friendly smile and said, "My father is friends with the owner of Lanya Art Museum, and he gave me a few tickets." Then she frowned in distress, "But I'm only one person, so I don't need so much. Do you want to go? I can give you one." "Really, it's hard to get this ticket now, so you just give it to me like this?" The girl was surprised and doubtful. "It doesn't matter, it's just a ticket, it's a waste if I can't use it, so I'll give it to you." Yunyan handed over a ticket. "Thank you, Xiao Yan, you are so kind. I misunderstood you because of those rumors before, so I'm really sorry." The girl felt a little guilty. "It's okay, everyone just has some misunderstandings about me." "Xiao Yan, can you give me one too?" another girl said cautiously. She had said bad things about Yunyan before. Here Yunyan handed out the ticket generously. "Xiao Yan, I want it too, please, please." "Me too, please, Xiao Yan." Yunyan gave away the tickets one by one. Seeing everyone's expressions of gratitude, she sneered in her heart. These losers could be bought with just one ticket. But it can change everyone's impression, and it's not in vain that she spent a lot of money to get these tickets, so it's not a loss. End of this chapter.